to another episode of On the Spot Painting. We're going to start something new. I didn't quite finish the other episode with the picture, but actually I did finish the picture. I was doing a video one of this, and for some reason it didn't turn out. So anyway, this is the finished project of this one. So it's basically trying to sum it up. What I'm painting is, let me do a little closer here for you so you can see it. It's kind of like how we go through our trials. We feel like we're kind of stuck in this, mire, or stuck in almost like quicksand or something like that. But in this case, it's like metal. So it's like we're all formed and going through trials and stuff. So that's kind of what I was depicting here in this picture, in this painting. So, all right, moving on. I have another picture that actually started a little while ago, and I want to continue it. And actually, this one was really unique because actually I didn't actually draw it with any pencil. I just actually did it with paint. So I try to explain where I'm getting at here. So let me show you. I'm trying to gather all my paints here together and paintbrushes. Okay, got everything I needed. All right. Alright, let's see. It's kind of a surreal world. Okay. I guess what I mean is I didn't actually draw it out like with a pen to draw out like this forms and stuff. It's just kind of forming as it's going. So. And trying to create this kind of metallic world where it has a little bit of 3D and a little depth and stuff like that. So it kind of adds that little elements to that. So. And I think this one I really pulled a lot of different colors together to form. So I took a lot of there's a lot of different yellows, reds, blues, a little bit of purple, a little everything to kind of form this. So this is kind of forming as it goes. It's sort of like kind of one of those paintings where it sort of like if you were creating music or something where you're just kind of creating the music as you go. This is sort of a freestyle painting in some ways. Kind of letting it take form wherever it does. And sometimes when you do something like this, it's like very, kind of scary or kind of intimidating because you don't know what direction you're going to go in. Especially I'm doing it kind of live here. So. All right. There might be periods of time where I'm not really talking much. Hope you guys don't mind that because I'm just trying to be focused on what I'm doing in this project time. Now this is a different paper. I forget exactly what paper it is, but a little different than what I've been using. I typically use the Arches paper, but I like to use, I think this is a Fluid brand. But okay. And sometimes you might see that I actually take a little bit of the paper towel and I kind of smudge it a little bit. So. I'm going to add a little more shadow here, so that actually kind of adds a little more depth to the painting. So you might notice that I do have shadow here, shadow there. Alrighty. I just want to welcome, sorry, like I said, I've been kind of focused on my painting here. I just want to welcome any new subscribers that have joined my channel. Just thank you again for joining. And a lot of the times you might notice I'm doing these paintings. I am teaching, but I'm kind of at the same time demonstrating what I'm doing and what I do. So I try to throw in a little teaching elements too, but this one's still forming. It's a forming picture. It's kind of a so I need time to see what direction this is going to go in. So. I don't need the pencil. I had the pencil out there, but I'm not really using it in this circumstance. Okay. Yeah, I'm really taking on the colors all different directions. So I'm kind of I'm pulling a little bit of blues, a little bit of yellows, a little bit of stormy clouds, or if there's a kind of a cloud universe, you know, in the, not universe, but in this world here. Okay. Actually, might even pull a little bit of the green. Let's see. Let's show you what I'm doing here. So. Now this one's really more of an experimentation sort of piece, although I have a sense of direction where I want to go, obviously, with the landscape. I mean, I kind of want it to flow further, you know, around and maybe have some more of elements of the kind of like you're seeing like rolling hills or something like that, but in this case it's rolling, you know, sheets of metal or something like that in that regards. Whatever your eye figures it to be. I'm trying to think that's what I'm trying to trying to affect the, give an illusion of depth or shape to the piece. I thought it'd be interesting to use all different colors. That was kind of a okay. I guess I'm a little tired tonight because kind of a busy day. So I just was, but I haven't really got back to you guys with my other paintings. So I would like to continue that. That's why I was trying to do these paintings tonight. Starting to come out. So very important. What I do is like to try to keep the lights. You work within the light, light period. Okay, a little tired today. So you work within the lighter parts of your painting here. So you want to make sure you keep yellows, the white of the paper, because that really will help you form the depth and shape that you want to get, or what I'm looking for in this case. Okay. And I kind of mentioned it before in my last video of something like this where it's surreal or fantasy. It really is up to you. You're the artist. You kind of make the decision what you want to do and what direction you want to go in. So you're kind of the one who decides, this where this is going to go. Now, if you're drawing something, from a photograph or something particular, you want to make sure you, especially if it's commission work or a design, you obviously want to follow, what the client wants, or or if you're trying to draw something obviously from a photograph, or I've done all sorts of stuff in the past, from anywhere from flowers to boats to trains and stuff like that. So you want to make sure you're following what the photograph says, because you want to make sure, not really says, but the photograph represents. So you want to represent your picture, especially if you really want to work from the photograph and you want to make sure it's realistic. So, but in this case, this is sort of just out of my own head, but obviously I'm trying to keep a sense of design where I want to go with this painting, this particular piece. It's almost as if somebody has literally laid out the sheets of metal and then formed it into the ground, and that's what I was trying to go with. The neatest thing too about watercolors is that a lot of times it's not really how much you put into it, like how many strokes you put into it or how many brush strokes. It's like sometimes it's just the simplest things that could change the piece. It could be the simplest line, this right here, just like for instance, this going here like that changes the whole direction of the painting, because your eyes view it and you start seeing the lines here and this, and all kind of forms into what I'm trying to get to is like this real atmosphere world where it's kind of like there's this shapes kind of forming and building into the ground, and it could be like however you let your imagination going, it could be actually forming, while you're watching them. Maybe it's not something that's maybe it's not something that was been there the whole time. Maybe it's in the middle of forming as it goes. That's an interesting concept or something like that. Where it's sort of like the environment is creating itself, shifting and moving, and almost as if it's alive in some ways. How that would be possible, I don't know. But that's the fun part. You can kind of create that world where somebody can just imagine, like, wow, this is cool. A lot of times these dunes or these environments in our world where we live and Earth, they're formed by the wind and the erosion and different elements of stuff forming the ground and stuff like that. So this could be similar in that fact or in that nature, or just the fact that it's moving. It's sort of like a mystery, sort of like when you view it and you're just like going, what? It makes sense, but then at the same time, it doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, yeah, it's a world, but how did it come into being? How did it form? And I kind of like to leave that question unanswered. It's sort of like, well, it just did. It just did. It's not. It's not a matter of. Not a matter of how, but a matter of it is. It is what it is. You look at it and you go, yeah, that's a world made out of metal, but how did it form? How did it, and it leaves those questions unanswered, and that's what I kind of like that idea of it, where it's sort of like, who formed this or who made this? The answer is never really found. It's just sort of a mystery there to you or whoever's viewing the piece. And ultimately, in reality, the artist is the one creating the world and piece. But it can almost be therapeutic in some ways because you can just sort of like you can just keep forming this. This world the way you choose. Okay, well, I'm sure we can go hours and hours end on this painting, and I just wanted to show you this. So again, sorry I wasn't very talkative tonight. I was kind of more focused on the painting. But thank you for joining me in another spot on the spots painting. And sorry about the other painting last time, didn't quite work out. It worked out talking, but it didn't work out visually. So for some reason the camera got kind of messed up. But today, this seems like I'm not. I am focused, but I guess I'm a little tired, and my mind is ready to do art and doing all those paintings and stuff. But sometimes you might get that way. You're just feeling like I'm ready to go. But a lot of times it's to try to talk about the subject matter, what you're talking about. Sometimes you're kind of you got to let your actions or what you're doing reflect that. So sometimes I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing if you can kind of do that. So thank you for joining me in another episode of On the Spot. This is kind of an evolution of this painting that you never saw before, but it's just something I wanted you guys to join me. It's something I was working on, and I just kind of tabled it a little bit or put it aside, and then I thought I would get back to it again, and thought this would be a great piece to show you on the spot painting. So hopefully I'll get back to this painting again, and we'll just continue to create together. If you are working, sorry I'm not very like I said, I want to try to do this as a instructional, but also as a demonstration. So I don't like go, this is how you do this, that's how you do that, this is what you do, you know. You, I'm just hoping that you watch it and you get inspired to do your own work. So thank you for joining me and On the Spot, and have a good night.